Look at this group of happy young people. Now look at this group of happy youngins. Now, imagine both of these groups are angrily protesting the Bible being forced on them in school. Which group is more angry and more threatening? Stop. You're right. You're not a bad person. Okay, so here's what's going on. This sexless, bearded carrot stick is called Ryan Walters, and he's the Oklahoma State School Superintendent. And he just pulled out his baby carrot stick and pissed on the First Amendment by making it mandatory that Bibles be taught and brought in to public schools in his state in a bunch of different ways, and we'll get into it. Oh yeah. And just to make sure he kept his knees dirty and carpet burned, he made sure the only Bible they can use is the MAGA Bible his daddy is grifting online to take more money from the poor people who voted for him. And that brings the cost of this little virtue signaling endeavor of his to $3 million. Now, Drill Sergeant is here to tell you how you are going to use the same First Amendment that he's pissing on to fight this and win. Yeah, so stay tuned to the end if you're into that sort of thing. So let's start with what this idiot had to say in a video sent to schools for kids to watch. And while you're watching, please hit that like and subscribe. We need you. You can help us keep content like this going for the next 4 years. All right? Okay. So let's watch this dipshit.
We are excited to announce a new office here in the Oklahoma State Department of Education. That will be the Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism. For too long in this country, we've seen the radical left attack individuals' religious liberty in our schools. We will not tolerate that in Oklahoma. Your religious liberties will be protected. We've also seen patriotism mocked and a hatred for this country pushed by woke teachers' unions. We will not tolerate that in any school in Oklahoma. We want our students to be patriotic. We want our students to love this country. And we want all students' religious liberty to be protected. I will now say a prayer. And to be clear, students, you don't have to join. But if you so wish, I'm going to go ahead and pray. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you've given our country. I pray for our leaders to make the right decisions. I pray in particular for President Donald Trump and his team as they continue to bring about change to the country. I pray for our parents, teachers, and kids that they get the best education possible and live high-quality lives. I also pray that we continue to teach love of country to our young people and that our students understand what makes America great and that they continue to love this country. Amen.
So that happened. I'll explain why that's fucking horrible in a little bit, but I thought I'd get right to the how you fight it part first, all right? But suffice it to say, I'm not the only one who thinks that this is a Tarantino-esque horror flick made for students and teachers and parents. But at least 7 Oklahoma superintendents also thought that wasn't the best thing to blast in every taxpayer-funded, government-run public school in their district. Even though there are people already fighting back with the lawsuits and legal action, they've been fighting back with legal action after legal action after legal action for months now. Okay? And somehow it always seems to die in litigation or win and get moved to yet another court. Most recently, one of the judges in the Supreme Court of Oklahoma, hearing the case this time, just recused herself. So I'm not relying on that fight winning, and quite frankly, you shouldn't either. Like everything else in a democracy, the fight lies with us, the people. You see, the separation of church and state isn't the only thing guaranteed to us by the First Amendment. The others are our right to free speech, our right to assemble, and to petition the government. And seeing as how exactly 0% of kids have or will ever watch this channel, you are going to have to tell them that these rights extend to them as well. These aren't adult rights, they're American rights. They will have to be the ones to get up and walk out and stand peacefully in the hallway. They're going to have to be the ones to organize before school to agree on the alternative classroom when confronted. Maybe the library, maybe the corner of the gym, maybe the bleachers. They're going to have to be the ones to organize a vow of silence in numbers large enough to make teachers and principals have no idea what to do when an entire classroom will no longer answer questions, engage, or respond in any way. But most importantly, YouTube, the reason why I showed you those pictures in the intro is because they are also going to have to be the ones who are going to get in trouble and go to detention and maybe even get suspended, because doing the right thing often requires sacrifice and accepting the consequences of being just. But by organizing and understanding how to be strategic in their protest, those consequences can be minimized and even avoided in some small amount of cases. YouTube, this group has to be the group to get up first. This group has to be taught to realize that uncomfortable feeling that we spoke about in the beginning and use it to their advantage. Right? It would even be better if this group wore crosses around their necks and purity rings on every girl's finger. Allow me to say it plainly, guys. When the face of the protest is white and Christian and innocent and pure and majority female, the backlash to the protest will be measured and considered and maybe even reasonable. Because our society has been socialized to see them as non-threatening, to see them as children who deserve empathy, patience, and understanding. I mean, little white girls are to be protected right up until they become pretty enough for your local Republican House member or senator or president to use them for sex and make laws that reduce their worth to how many babies they can make before they die. Did that hurt? Don't turn away. Use that. Use that. I guarantee you those words would have caused just a slightly less visceral reaction if this was the picture that was up. And people of every color watching right now, because we all have also been socialized. These are the facts. This is the truth. We're going to use that knowledge. Take a deeper look at who is suing Mr. I haven't satisfied my wife in 15 years, but Trump absolutely loves me. Carrot stick superintendent over here. You see that? Clergy. One of the reasons this has gotten as far as it has in Oklahoma is because of that group right there. I would bet that if we were to take a look at the judge who recused herself, this would have something to do with that miraculous discovery that a Supreme Court judge can actually recuse themselves if they're compromised all of a sudden. Looking at you, Brett Kavanaugh. Looking at you, Clarence Thomas. Looking at you, Samuel Alito. And unfortunately, looking at you too, Sonia Sotomayor. I know. It's comparing apples to orange spray tan right about now, but I'm just saying. I didn't forget that. All right, I digress. Look, I gave you workable strategies that will absolutely bring schools to their breaking point if done consistently and exactly the way I'm about to explain. But none of it works if this group isn't just a part of it, but the instigators of it 90% of the time at least. And a doggone guarantee if they all bring Bibles to read at school in their backpacks. Here's why. The tactics I propose don't just rely on disruption, chaos, and degrading structural stability, which is all necessary to change the minds of even the most ardent school administrator. But these tactics need coverage. Coverage and cover. Allow me. You see this? Now get rid of whatever problem you have with this and whatever blame you want to place on that. It's the chicken or the egg at this point, because the news tells us what's most important for us to know. But we tell the news what's the most important for them to cover by tuning in. How long we watch and how many clicks, surveys, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? This is the truth. And our job is not to change it yet. Our job is to recognize our collective national socialization and use it to our advantage. Does that make sense? I'll also refer to this academic study. I'll leave it in the description for you to check out on your own time, but you get the picture. Now, this is how your kids can use this. Strategy number 1, get up and walk out and stand peacefully in the hallway. Quite frankly, I would start this in junior high. When the Bibles come out, they must state to the teacher why they're leaving the class and then do it. Now listen, it may be a little bit scary, a lot scary when adults are telling them to get back in class, but that's why they need you. You tell them that no matter what the punishment they receive for this is, they will only get pride and congratulations from you when they get home. Let them know that if those teachers think they can take your constitutionally given American rights from you, then just wait till I come up there and tell them what's what. You get the picture. That's you. You have to facilitate the organization at this age, obviously. Make your house available. Organize with parents who care. Then, and only then, tell your kids to get the people in his class or her class over and provide the safe space and encouragement and the cookies. Everyone should know who the leader is, and that will make it more comfortable for the rest to follow suit when the most popular white girl gets up and gives the look. Now, if Namji Hassin is the one whose house everyone is meeting at, you've already failed. You get it? If Kirsten Whitebread with a pool in the backyard and friends at First Presbyterian on Main Street is the house, and she invites Namji Hassin to come to the party, then you're a good parent. You get it. Facilitate, instruct, then get the heck out of the way. For high school, this works by being cool. I mean, sure, organizing can be done before school on who exactly has classes together and who will be the first to walk out when the Bibles come out. But honestly, the first to do it is immediately the coolest person in the school. That's it. And I would be surprised beyond belief if you need to organize anything to make the rest follow suit. This protest is a minor disruption that will cause a detention, and that's the price of being courageous, period. Let them know. They're going to be the coolest person in school. Okay, strategy number 2, probably the best one. Alternative classrooms when confronted. This is only for high school. Obviously, you'll see why. Kids, set a time to organize before school to agree on the alternative classroom when confronted with biblical indoctrination. Maybe the library, maybe the corner of the gym or the bleachers, like I said before, because rowdy kids looking for an excuse to skip class can and will be ignored. But kids bringing their school books with pen and paper, teaching each other or holding coordinated study groups is embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the administration, for the teachers. Photos should be taken and shared everywhere. Videos should be taken and shared everywhere. When the bell rings for the next period, everyone gets up and goes to the next class. If they all get in trouble, well, so what? So what? Do it again tomorrow. If they all get suspended, so what? Take pictures and video of them doing everything they can to study and learn together at McDonald's or the library during their suspension. Show the embarrassing failure of a school system filled with adults who've taken kids desperate to learn and craving knowledge and thrown them away like garbage. Huh? Teachers will join these groups when they happen. Like in the moment. I promise you, as a teacher, there's no way I can see kids wishing to learn and don't risk whatever it takes to help, if I can. And if you really want to start a winnable war, have them designate a specific period for Bible study. So the kids who walk out during that period literally study the Bible on their own rather than have it forced on them in a state-sanctioned classroom. Bring the Quran and the Torah too. Why not? And don't forget, pics or it didn't happen. All right, strategy 3. silent treatment. When the Bibles come out, the tongues stay in. That's all there is to it, period. Again, the leaders of these movements have to be seen as the white Christian kids. And they should be the ones to start it, visibly be the ones instructing the others to follow them. All of this is tough, I know. And it's going to have to go on for a while. And honestly, number 3 will be the hardest one for teenagers to accomplish. But you have to teach them what it's worth. Show pride in them. And watch the numbers grow. I have many more ideas, and I'm sure your kids will have even more than that. Give them the agency. Teach them they are Americans who don't give up and don't give shit away to anybody, especially their rights. Have them be proud of that. Didn't this guy just talk about patriotism?
We want our students to be patriotic. We want our students to love this country.
Yeah, that's what this is. Now, you might be asking, why does it have to be the kids anyway? Why are they the ones who have to fight? I'll be honest. If there were enough adults in Oklahoma to fight in a way that makes a difference, you wouldn't have elected this shit-stained superintendent in the first place. But another reason is because of this. Teacher pay. You see, teachers can't afford to strike. The pay for teachers in Oklahoma ranks 43rd in the nation. And right around the corner is the threat from this dickwad. Yeah, that's right. As if degrading teachers with the 43rd worst pay in the nation isn't enough. You got idiots like Mark Wayne Mullen over here saying we should just get rid of them altogether and replace them with preachers instead. Do you remember when this red-headed Matt Gaetz impersonator said this?
We've also seen patriotism mocked and a hatred for this country pushed by woke teachers' unions.
Tell me again how robust and dangerous these teacher unions are. When the pay for teachers ranks 43rd in the nation. I don't see it. Since we're here, by the way, let's talk about what makes this Bible mandate such a dumb idea in the first place. How about the fact that your shit stain of a state ranks 49th in education? 49th out of 50. Tell me again what sense it makes to mandate the King James Version Bibles in every school written in Shakespearean prose when 76% of 4th graders can't read Dr. Seuss and 84% of 8th graders can't multiply double-digit numbers. Huh? I got one. How about the fact that Oklahoma spends 35% less than the national average per student, but somehow found $3 million extra to buy a leather-bound Bible made in China to stuff the pockets of a senile billionaire who also can't read? That part. 49th out of 50. From where I'm sitting, the education you're giving your kids by giving them the agency to fight back against this tragedy of red state buffoonery is miles ahead of whatever the hell they're getting right now. From where I'm sitting, they can afford to miss a few days in suspension in exchange for actually learning something for a change. Share this video. Copy and paste the URL or press the share button down there and copy the URL. Okay? Put it in your Facebook. Put it in your Blue Sky feed. Send it to your friends and neighbors and be a part of an education so much needed in this country, and one that these poor kids will never forget. I promise you. Resist this shit. And if you really want to be a part of the resistance and learn how to use emotional and social manipulation in a fight against the fascists for the next 4 years, like understanding why this picture affects you and how to use it. What's the difference between this picture and this one? Or how to create a narrative around an image in a way that misdirects your enemies and pits them against each other rather than you, then become a part of the resistance. Email us. You will be thoroughly vetted. And then join. If you need help, email us. If you want to know how to help but don't want all the other stuff, email us. Educate yourself, educate others, and then come back for more. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.